Alright, here we're going to talk about spiritual senses. You don't only, in this whole thing where I'm teaching you how to do blindfolded sight, which is an amazing skill. A lot of people, being able to see your surroundings is great. And be able to, it helps you navigate, it helps you use your brain as like more of a control panel to navigate different astral planes, essentially, using your spiritual senses. But it's not just your sight. You can improve your hearing. You would put over, completely noise-canceling headphones, and you would, I don't know, maybe in the future I'll do a course on that. I'll see how relevant it becomes, but I know it's a thing because Mark Komisarov was already doing that, and he's essentially the pioneer in this whole field in modern times because this has been known and referenced back in, the tablets of Thoth and Egypt and, Tibet and all these other places. Indonesia, and even, modern times. But sacred knowledge, if you pay attention to white noise, to fire crackling, to streams, or if you just go into, let's say, a sense deprivation tank, that would be a great place to train your hearing, because it's almost like trying to become a schizophrenic and trying to hear things as clearly as you can that are in your mind and letting them come to you. It's just like with the blindfolded sight. We have our imagination and we can create it, but if you just let go and let information arrive, then that can often be information that's coming from outside of you and not being generated from you, which is something we strive to learn when we're dealing with our intuition, and how you can train your intuition to 100%, and how you can end up seeing blindfolded, and have your brain trust your sixth sense as much as it trusts your regular sight. So you could do things like, in Indonesia they have sharpshooters, and they have, people who are driving cars and motorcycles, and like people who are completely blind, and they're doing this stuff. This is real, and this is amazing, and there's so much more to it than just sight. You can taste, you can smell, you can hear, you can even feel. And they recognize this with remote viewing. They get all kinds of information, and right now we're just training the sight sense, but we should also acknowledge that there are other spiritual senses that can be enhanced as well. So we'll start by doing a simple practice to try to enhance our spiritual hearing. So I want you to really imagine that you hear a rainforest. A thick, full rainforest. All the birds, all the monkeys, all the insects. Maybe it's raining, maybe there's wind in the trees. I'm going to give you a few moments. And I want you to really listen to that and pull it as loudly and as clearly into your hearing as you can. Now I want you to imagine that you're in the rainforest. You can feel the humidity on your skin and how the air is thick. You can almost taste the life around you. The sounds are louder, and you can feel it. Maybe you feel your hand running down a large leaf that's wet, that's slippery and waxy. Or you can smell the earth, the wet earth. Maybe you can taste or feel the heat, maybe some sweat dripping into your mouth, your clothes starting to stick to you. By doing practices or meditations like this, we can enhance our other senses when we traverse other planes, when we may astral project or move our consciousness elsewhere. We can better perceive the environment. Amazing stuff. Try to hear what's not there. Put headphones on, try to hear what people are saying. Make it louder, clearer. Imagine sight, when you go to open the fridge, taste everything, like literally taste it before you eat it, and I do that just to try to figure out what I want. If I'm trying to cook something, I imagine how the flavors will combine, and then I'm like, I add a little salt to it in my brain, and I'm like, no, I'm feeling like something else, until I come up with that conclusion. But just doing that will help you better develop senses when, like, you're lucid dreaming or other things. It can help you really perceive the environment much better. That's a quick video. I wanted to go over other spiritual senses, just to bring them up, to mention them. They are relevant because we're dealing with blindfolded sight, which is, developing to, as fully as we can, our spiritual sight. I want to recommend a couple other books too. Before I go, I want to recommend Autobiography of a Yogi. If you have not read it, read it. It's on Audible as well. I know it's on YouTube, but the dude who reads it on YouTube doesn't sound that great. And the guy who reads it on Audible is some British guy who's awesome. And there's another book I'm reading right now, Joe Dispenza's Becoming Supernatural. That's a good one. He seems to be reaffirming just everything I've learned. I didn't realize a lot of his information is kind of in his book. But it's good to find affirmations and be like, yes, this is what it is. This is what he's talking about. I'm going to bring up affirmations too, because I'm going to make this video a little longer. So yeah, those are two good books. There's another good book on intuition. I don't even remember what it is, but just do some research, check out my videos, just listen to me. You don't have to do too much research, you just have to know it's a thing and you can train it. And then when you train it, you'll understand it more, You can read about something as much as you want, but doing it is how you truly learn. So I wanted to talk about, what was the other thing? Yes, I also wanted to talk about affirmations. So I kind of have this idea that affirmations are like mantras in other languages, but for us to find something that truly resonates with us and gives us energy and allows us to tap into infinity and, step into the beyond and create and manifest things. This, positive, joyful energy and emotion we can get from affirmations. And affirmations also start to essentially rewire our brain. When we, just by thinking of flexing our muscles, if we think about that and really intensely do it for a while, our brain and our muscles will start to react to that without actually having worked out. We can get stronger just by the imagination. Your brain is a powerful thing. Again, if it's a battle between your subconscious and your conscious, your subconscious will always win. So if you continually do affirmations, you can slowly change the subconscious. And like when you're doing blindfolded sight, like I mentioned before, believing is seeing. It's not necessarily seeing is believing, although you have to believe it in order to see it, because your brain is not going to actively work towards creating these things if it doesn't believe it's possible. It's not even going to try. So it has to understand that this is doable, and then it's going to be like, oh, well, okay, yeah, I see how it's, and then it works and it wires it. And that's why kids can do it so quickly. because kids don't have a long-term ego that's been constructed in their subconscious, that's been built around all these ideas that they would never be willing to change. I mean, so many people get information, and even if it's the correct information, the first thing that they heard they think is correct, so they don't even open their minds and acknowledge it and take it in. They're just like, no, no, you're wrong. And then half the time they don't even look it up. They don't even verify themselves. They just assume. So with the subconscious and children, they don't have all of these pre-built walls and pre-built conceptions. So when you tell them that they can do this, their brain is like, okay, and it just does it. I mean, for us, we've told ourselves for so long that if you don't have eyes, you cannot see, period. And so our brain is not going to believe it, it's not going to work for it, and we have to convince and change our subconscious in order to, for us adults, you know, kids, they don't have these walls. But we have to change our subconscious to allow our brain to start actively building these things for us. So do affirmations. Find ones that are powerful and resonant for you. You know, you are infinite. All points in space and time are one. You have more energy than 1,000 suns in you. You know, you are all. You could find a different mantra if you feel that some kind of, you know, mantra in a different language resonates with you. But affirmations work, and they rewire your brain, and they send different chemicals, they create different proteins, they create different biochemistry. Just the way you feel creates energy in motion. And be positive, be powerful, because love, joy, compassion, those are the most powerful energies you can have. Thank you so much. Enjoy. I wish you luck on your journey. Let's do amazing things together. We'll talk about manifestation next, and what is truly required for the kind of manifestation that you might be looking for, or even the highest levels of manifestation where people end up bringing objects into reality. Things like, you know, Sai Baba and his incense, or Jesus and the bread, or I think there's several enlightened beings who have achieved this, and they've written about it, and I'll talk to you about it next on what manifestation truly means, because we are one, all points in space and time are one. That's why all these things are possible. Anyway, see you in the next video. Have a wonderful evening. Thank you so much.